Hi, and welcome to this video about rocket launch and operation. For satellite communication and space exploration, rockets have proved indispensable. They've made it possible for people to travel to the moon and explore outer space. We will examine the science of rocket propulsion and the launch of a rocket in further detail in this video. How do rockets work? Complex machines called rockets exploit the principles of physics to propel themselves into space. The fundamental tenet of rocket propulsion is Newton's third rule of motion, which asserts that there is an equal and opposite reaction to every action. Hot gases are shot out of a rocket engine's nozzle at high velocity, producing a tremendous amount of thrust. The rocket is propelled forward by this thrust. Solid fuel and liquid-fueled rocket engines are two different types. Engines that run on liquid fuel create thrust by mixing liquid oxygen with fuel like a hydrogen or kerosene. Both liquids are kept in separate tanks before being pumped into the engine, where they are combined and ignited. As a result, the nozzle releases the heated gases at a fast rate of speed, creating thrust. The management and maintenance of liquid-fueled engines must be more careful since they are more complex than solid-fueled engines. On the other hand, solid-fueled engines produce thrust by combining a solid fuel, such as ammonium perchlorate, with a binder like rubber. A cylindrical cylinder known as a motor that has a nozzle on one end is filled with solid fuel. The fuel burns quickly after being lit, creating hot gases that are ejected out of the nozzle and create thrust. Engines powered by solid fuel are less complicated and more dependable than those powered by liquid fuel. But once they are started, they cannot be stopped. It is possible for the structure of a rocket to be harmed by the intense heat and pressure that rocket engines produce. In order to avoid this, rockets are built with unique heat shields and insulation to shelter the structure from the heat. Stages, which are components of the rocket that are expelled when they have completed their mission, are also built into the construction of these rockets. As a result, the rocket is lighter and moves faster. How are rockets launched? Preparation, countdown, and liftoff are some of the stages that make up the complicated process of a rocket launch. The rocket must be put together and filled with fuel during the preparation stage. Assembling rockets often takes place in a clean room to avoid contamination from dust and other contaminating elements. A launch vehicle, such as a rocket or a space shuttle, is then used to install the rocket after it has been delivered to the launch pad. After the rocket is prepared, the countdown starts, and the launch team checks every system to make sure everything is operating as it should. There is several hours' worth of checks and tests that are performed throughout the countdown. The rocket systems, such as its engines, navigation system, and communication system, are all closely watched by the launch team to ensure correct operation. Rocket launch occurs when the countdown approaches zero. The launch process normally consists of many phases, during which the rocket loses weight by disassembling various structural components. In order to escape the gravitational pull of the Earth, a rocket must reach escape velocity, which is aided by this. The rocket's engines are ignited as part of the launch sequence's first phase. The engines generate an enormous amount of thrust, which launches the rocket off the launch pad and into the atmosphere. The expended stages are thrown away by the rocket as it soars to reduce weight. The rocket's fairing must be separated during the second phase of the launch cycle. A fairing is a protective shell that encloses the payload, which could be a satellite or a spacecraft. The rocket's fairing is discarded once it has reached a specific altitude in order to lighten its load and improve its speed. The final push to reach orbit takes place during the third stage of the launch procedure. Reigniting the rocket's engines will give it the thrust it needs to reach orbit and escape velocity. In conclusion, rockets have been essential for communication and space exploration. By rapidly releasing hot gases from the engine, they operate on the principle of thrust. A rocket launch involves meticulous planning, a countdown, and liftoff. We trust that this movie was educational and that you now have a clearer grasp of how rockets operate and are launched. Thank you for watching.